What's up YouTube, Capital G here. Got a couple of good duels for you guys to check out. The first duel is featuring what most people consider to be the best deck in the entire TCG competitive Yu-Gi-Oh meta. That is Sky Striker. Obviously there are decks like Salamand, Great and Thunder Dragons that are incredibly good as well, but I think that most people consider like Sky Striker to be just a smidgen above those decks, not like on a different tier or anything like that. I still consider those to be the tier 1 of Yu-Gi-Oh! I just think that most people consider Sky Strikers to be a little ahead. But what if I told you the best deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! Was actually little old insects? Yes, insects are actually out here and people are trying to make the deck work. They're getting more support in the future. When we get like the ballpark cards, that'll be pretty awesome. But I think we need to have a stipulation. Whoever wins this duel, you have the crown of best deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, it's freaking insects, guys. Clearly, Sky Striker is the heavy favorite going into this duel, whether it goes first or second. I think that that is fair. Anyway, Sky Strikers are up first, so you can't complain that you didn't get to go first. He's gonna Rhoda, and then he has multi-roll, plays the multi-roll, goes for Kagari. That is almost certainly gonna get hit by Impermanence. It's his only hand trap. You just gotta go ahead and use that. And he gets a search during the end phase, but he's not able to really get anything going. The multi-roll is just sitting on the field doing nothing. He did send Mobilize Engage, I believe, to the graveyard because Mobilize Engage would have been a really good play here. I mean, obviously, it just is anytime, but it's even better when you have multi-roll on the field and then you can recover it during your end phase. He got the Widow Anchor. Technically, he probably should have activated Widow Anchor, negated his Shizuku in the end phase, and then reset it from the copy of multi-roll. Yeah, it would get banished, but it would give him a defensive option. But I guess he felt like, hey, I've got my Ash Blossom set, I feel pretty comfortable. Anyways, his opponent is playing Dangerous because Dangerous are good in basically everything. He is going to go for Multiplication of Ants. Multiplication of Ants gets you a whole bunch of ant tokens on the field. It's not even really that many, it's just like a couple of them, but those can go into the Insector Link monster, which is actually kind of cool. He is going to get the search from the Resonance Insect. That gets him a copy of Doomdozer. Don't sleep on Doomdozer. Any of you guys who know about the Demise OTK know that this card can be very powerful. It's better when, you know, Metamorphosis is in the game, but I digress. He's going to go for the Insector Link, and this is cool because it is going to potentially allow him to draw some cards. His opponent probably is going to Ash Blossom that. He has double Ash. He has to Ash something at this point, so he's going to shut down that so he doesn't get a draw, but he's going to go for that World Legacy Inheritor. The good thing about Resonance Insect is it ain't no hard once per turn, so as he keeps on link summoning with this bad boy, he can just keep on getting searches because, you know, it's not a hard once per turn. He's going to summon another Resonance Insect from his deck, or that's going to be with Summon Sorceress, and then he is going to send the Goki Pole to the graveyard. Goki Pole should activate, and that's going to summon a normal insect, and it's going to blow up his opponent Shizuku. Now it's fine because he still has Ray. Ray can go into Kagari, he can get his cards, but he's not before he goes for Summon Sorceress, or excuse me, the Saryuja Skull Dread. He's gonna activate Resonance Insect for like what, the 15th time this turn and get another search, and he's gonna potentially fix his hand. He's gonna summon not one but two copies of Doomdozer. Goes for that number 28. I wonder, I feel like he might have actually reduced his damage there. I feel like that was not actually worth, but it's actually okay because after summoning a couple of big insects inherently from his hand, well no, one of them was inherently this guy right here, the Worm Warrior. This one was summoned off of Saryuja Skull Dread. He's basically just going to be able to OTK his opponent, like from 8,000 damage to 0 in one fell swoop, guys. We have a new king of the meta, guys. Insects, Cap G officially crowning it as the best deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! And keep in mind, he probably should not have like used the Doom Dozer. He probably just should have attacked with the Doom Dozers. He would have had more damage. And even if the Sky Striker player was able to somehow survive this, the Scary Moth does actually make it so your opponent can only special summon one monster a turn. So basically, like whatever Sky Striker monster he goes for, he's stuck on that card for the rest of the turn. Unless he has the Widow Anchor and he can get it off the board, I don't think that he would have been able to do all that much. But he did have, like, I guess, Mobilize Engage, plus he had a bunch of spells engraved. So maybe he gets the Widow Anchor, Plus the draw fixes his hand, but it doesn't even matter because when he activates the engage, like number 38 is just going to suck it up anyway. So I don't really think that this guy was going to be able to be back in this game, whether he died this turn or not. So yep, Insects actually best deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! Confirmed. Next duel is actually going to be Witchcrafter versus Nekroz. This is a swingy matchup, and I gotta say, this is not bad tech right here. So he's playing the World Dino Wrestling, and this is the card that when you banish it, you can summon a Dino Wrestler monster from your graveyard. If your opponent has more monsters than you, basically you just, you're gonna play Dino Wrestler Pankratrops. It's like the only monster in your deck, well, the only Dino Wrestler. This is actually pretty good, right? Because with Witchcrafter, we know that they pitch spells to the graveyard like no one's business. Witchcrafter also a lot of times will run Foolish Burial Goods to get the copy of Metaphors Fusion in the graveyard, just another good card to pitch. So you have multiple ways of getting this into the graveyard, and even if you hard draw it, it's fine. You can just pitch it to the grave. It's not that bad of a play. I think that Witchcrafter, like turn 1, it's pretty weak. You see that he used Smita's effect to get the Buy Street and the Sabotage or the Holiday in the graveyard. So he's getting a couple of cards back. I think Witchcrafter, like turn 1, is not that strong, but I think the deck gets progressively stronger after that. Now, it was unfortunate. Like, he drew 2 of his boss monsters, Heine and Madame Vere. Usually, you're not going to draw both of these, and it's a problem when you do draw them, so that is unfortunate. But assuming he didn't just draw those 2 cards, which are just both bricks, he would have been in a really strong position. I think so. Anyways, his opponent is going to press on. If he gets Trishula here, he probably would have ended up losing the game. It's fine though, because he does have the Buy Street. His opponent did not actually, he should have summoned Colossus in attack mode, to be honest. I mean, I guess Smita just would have been summoned in attack instead of in defense mode, and then maybe it would have just kind of been a moot point, but it's fine. The fact that he was able to keep Smita on field is huge, because now he can summon that Pankratrops. His opponent controlled 2 monsters to his 1. He's going to go for Metaphors Fusion. I will say this, I'm not a big fan of Witchcraft Masterpiece. I feel like this card's terrible. I get that it can summon a Witchcrafter monster from your deck. The problem I have with it is it banishes your spells. The entire point of Witchcrafter to me is to get as many spells in the graveyard as possible, and you just keep on adding them to your hand and recycling them. This card basically defeats that purpose. If you want to use it for the add effect, like the spell add effect, maybe activate Pot of Indulgence, or excuse me, Pot of Extravagance turn 1, and then go for like another Extravagance in your following turn. Like, that's cool, but banishing my spells in Witchcrafter, I'm not willing to do it, because look what he just did. He added like 3 spells from his graveyard to his hand during his end phase. Like, I feel like that's one of the best things about Witchcrafter. Why would you want to cut that off? Now that he has Madame Vere on field, he's okay. Like, once you get Madame Vere on field, you're in a good position. He's going to shut down that Trishula by basically just activating Vere's effect. He tries to attack, and I think that's yeah, Pankrotrop's just going to go ahead and try to pop it. He is going to go ahead and summon from the deck. Even if his opponent runs over the monster, it's fine, because he has the Buy Street, or actually no, it looks like he doesn't even need to use Buy Street. He uses Madame Vere's effect, but he did have the Buy Street as well. Buy Street is basically like your Salamangreat Balance for this deck, except it's not something that, it's not a finite resource. It activates every single turn, and it just kind of stays on the field. Now he has finally gotten Heine on the field, and he's able to just continually use Madame Vere to reduce his opponent's, or to increase his attack, and at this point he's basically in a very good position. Like, this is where the deck wants to be. His opponent summoned, I think he's trolling, he summons the wrong Brio. Bro, you're supposed to be summoning Nekroz of Brionac, not the old Brio. Anyways, you know that Heine can just blow that guy up, and then if he tries to summon Trishula from his graveyard with the Nekroz cycle, Master Vere is there to just shut that effect down, and I don't think that his opponent's going to be able to really get over the board of Heine plus Master Vere, even though he's going to attack with Decisive Armor. Doesn't matter, Master Vere or Madame Vere can just reduce some of the damage that he would take, and he still has Buy Street anyways. That is a scoop phase right there. Again, he does have, or you're seeing right here, the Metaphors Fusion. A really good card to pitch, because you can pitch it with like Heine, blow up your opponent's Trishula, put it back in your deck, and then draw a new card. So it's like a great utility card for this deck. Or you could just use it for something like Master, or I keep saying Master Vere. I think it's because it's the OCG name, and it's what I'm staring at. But Madame Vere, that's the TCG name. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed these short duels. If you did, give the video a thumbs up. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos. And actually, let me just go ahead and show you guys what the deck looks like on paper. For the Insect deck, I think people might want to get a quick peek at that. There are some some danger cards in here. The dangers are in here because cards like Gokipole, it does not have to be sent from the field to the graveyard. It's just anytime the card is sent from the graveyard, you get to add a level 4 insect from your deck to your hand. And then if you added a normal monster, you can just like special summon it. So basically you're just going to get the Gokibore. You can special summon it and then blow up a card from your opponent's side of the field. We saw that used in the duel. So like this is an excellent card to just discard from the dangers, because basically not only do you get the draw, but then you get to summon a monster from your deck, the Gokibore, and then you get to blow up a monster on your opponent's side of the field. So it's basically like a +2 in that sense. This card is actually like really nuts. You've got some normal summons. I don't see any reason to run any less than 3 Gokibores, because you want to like, you're going to have the potential of maybe drawing some of them, and they're good cards, obviously, like discard from dangers, but at the same time, you always want to be able to resolve your Gokipole. So you just want to make sure that this is like always a live card. In the same sense, you can run things like your Rescue Bunny. Rescue Bunny turns this into basically like a 1-card Xyz. You could, I mean, I don't know how much space you could really fit in here, but I was saying maybe you could throw in like a Utopia package. I do get that that's a lot of cards, but basically if you go for Rescue Bunny, it does equal a 1-card, either like Insector Link, or you can go for like a rank 4, something like that. Same thing is can kind of be said about like Galaxy Worm. Galaxy Worm says when this card is normal summon and you have no other monsters, you can summon a level 3 or lower Galaxy effect monster from your deck, but it has its effects negated. So basically you normal summon 1 worm and then you just get like another worm straight from your deck. Some Burning Abyss players used to play around with this because again, you normal summon it and you just get another one, and it's an instant Dante in that sense, or like a Cherubini. Renaissance Insect, another card that is amazing. This one does have to actually be sent from the field to the graveyard, so basically it is link fodder, but it's not a hard once per turn, and you get to add a high level insect monster from your deck to your hand. That's the reason that you're running the Doom Dozers. And even if you do happen to like discard a Doom Dozer early with your danger monsters, it's fine, because chances are once you get Renaissance Insect, you're just gonna, you saw him in the first duel, he just kept activating the card over and over and over again as he continued the link summon. I think the last kind of interesting like insect monster in here is probably the Scary Moth. This card was summoned with Saryuja. Generally, it's not going to be like the easiest thing to summon, but you can summon it with Saryuja. You can discard it and summon it back from the graveyard with like Monster Reborn or World Legacy Succession. It makes it so each player can only special summon once per turn, but essentially it's like El Shaddai Winda. Basically, you just kind of want to get set up and make it so your opponent can only special summon once, and generally they will not be able to beat your board with the field presence that you establish. Like we saw him put on number 38 and then Saryuja, and it's like, what exactly are you going to do with one special summon? You're probably not going to be able to break that. So just an interesting insect deck.